Hiccup and Toothless just broke the box office. Hi everyone. Today I bring you a new box office report, and this time it's about the live action How to Train Your Dragon. This movie just had a very strong opening, so in today's video I'm going to tell you all its box office numbers. Let's get started. As always, we begin with its release in the United States, which had a very strong opening. It debuted with $83 million in its first weekend in the United States. Those numbers are higher than any of the animated How to Train Your Dragon movies, and they're even higher than Kung Fu Panda 4, which is the most successful of DreamWorks' recent animated films. Of course, Kung Fu Panda 4 cost half as much as How to Train Your Dragon. So yes, it did quite well in the United States. Now let's look at its worldwide performance, where it made almost $200 million, since its global box office currently stands at $197 million, which is a pretty good number, but personally I expected more. We'll get into that later, but first let's talk about its budget. Based on the budget, this movie is definitely going to be successful since it didn't have as low a budget as Lilo and Stitch. But as you know, that movie had such a low budget because it was originally gonna be for Disney+. Still, the budget wasn't that high either, as it had a budget of $150 million. It's a pretty standard budget high, but not extremely high. Now, let's get into why I think this movie could have had a better opening. Because even though it started off quite well aside from the Shrek movies, it's one of the best openings in DreamWorks' history. It's still only about half of what the Minecraft movie and Lilo and Stitch made in their first weekend. Yes, I know those movies were huge, but I feel like with How to Enter Your Dragon, especially online, a lot of people hyped it up, saying things like, no, this movie is going to beat Lilo and Stitch because it's 1,000 times better, and so on. But in the end, it only made half of what Lilo and Stitch did. Since this one has been better received, I don't think it will suddenly disappear from theaters in the coming weeks. I think it's going to have very good staying power, so my final prediction for its worldwide box office is that it will end up with around $600 million. If we compare that to Disney's live action films, it would be a bit more than what The Little Mermaid made, the recent one, the one that doesn't really look like The Little Mermaid and less than Mufasa, because Mufasa reached over $700 million. So even so, this movie would be a success if it reaches 600 million or so, because none of the How to Train Your Dragon movies, except for the second one, reached those heights. So this would be either the first or the second highest grossing film of the franchise. The only thing this movie has against it is that, unlike Minecraft and Lilo and Stitch, which didn't face such strong competition in their following weekends, this movie has quite a lot of competition both now at the end of June and throughout July. So we'll see how it does at the box office, but I still think it will at least reach $600 million. So in conclusion, the movie did quite well, but it's not a worldwide phenomenon like Minecraft or Lilo and Stitch.